as tensions and disagreements can escalate rapidly with far-reaching and costly consequences. The conflict in the heart of Europe, something unimaginable in the 21st century, underscores this reality. In the face of such challenges, the role of Kenya as a stable democracy and an anchor state for peace and security in the region becomes increasingly significant. As the Africa Union mission in Somalia is concluding, Kenya as a frontline state will continue our support and collaboration with the government in Somalia to fight against terrorism. This ongoing commitment is crucial for maintaining regional stability, and we count on the EU bilateral support for our efforts in this regard. In another part of the world, the situation in Haiti highlights the global nature of security challenges. Grounded in United Nations resolutions, multinational security support mission will need some 5,000 men and women to address the challenge posed by armed gangs, estimated to be around 9,000. Currently, about 8 countries, including Kenya, are willing to contribute their forces to Haiti, but there is a clear need for assurance of international support. The support from the EU will be instrumental in bolstering the initiative, providing the necessary resources, including legitimacy. Madam President, members of this great august House, fostering long-term peace and stability goes hand in hand with building sustainable economic foundations. And Africa is mapping out the road for green industrialization and prosperity, so that it can play its rightful role in shaping a better future for all. In this endeavor, the partnership with Europe and Africa must embody a reciprocal relationship grounded in shared objectives and cooperative effort. This synergy has the power to drive transformative results for both continents. Concrete, actionable steps are the key to realizing this mutually beneficial vision. Firstly, Africa's journey to become a green industrial powerhouse needs the right type and amount of capital, especially in renewable energy and infrastructure. Such investment could catapult Africa to a future where energy access is universal by 2030, simultaneously slashing emissions from energy generation in Africa by 80%. Secondly, there is a necessary complement to capital: market access. In fact, one of the biggest contributions that EU can make to both addressing poverty in Africa and achieving global climate goals is through its demand for green products and services, including for carbon credits. Africa wants to compete. Crucially, we are not asking for further exemptions or a lower bar, but with high requirement on quality and integrity. Thirdly, the EU has a golden opportunity to leverage high-quality African carbon credits that conserve and expand natural carbon sinks, reduce emissions, and remove atmospheric carbon. These days, not a week goes without an expose about bad carbon credits. And while issues exist in the market, it is important to not lose sight of one of the core drivers. The current price of 50 cents to a few dollars per ton in the voluntary market is simply impossible to generate quality credits. In the Nairobi Declaration, we committed to leaning forward in increasing the bar on quality and integrity on carbon and other relevant effects of this project. It will be that much easier to do so with the prospect of market access. In Kenya, the draft carbon markets regulation is in the final stage of finalization. And we believe that using this carbon credit instrument we can create resources to not only expand our growth, but also decarbonize global growth. Fourthly, aligning European concessional and multilateral capital with Africa's climate agenda is also an economic idea. It is about phasing down climate incompatible funding to shift them towards climate action, unlock much more concessional finance, and lower risks. Here I invite the European Investment Bank to play a bigger role in Kenya and on the continent with its expertise and resources. And finally, African economies are constrained by lack of appropriate and sufficient finance and investment. As African countries, we pay 5 times as much for our debt as would pay if the multilateral development banks were appropriately capitalized. Those seeking investment for private projects face high costs of capital and unhelpful short tenures driven by both real and perceived risk factors. We face a chokehold on a vicious cycle. As countries, our ability to invest consistently and strategically in basic infrastructure, social services, and skills development is severely hampered. And lack of that investment contributes to the high-risk premiums and makes it harder for private projects to become viable and attractive. This is a very strong list of proposals to reform the international financial architecture. We support this and more, and we are in good company. For example, the implementation of the Capital Adequacy Framework review of the MDBs has broad-based support across G7 and G20. Yet our path to action is a bit too slow. I call on all of us to accelerate and expand these measures, such as with the tax working group we are launching with France at the COP28 next month. Lastly, Europe's experience in workforce development and reskilling offers invaluable insights. By learning from Europe's successful models in education and vocational training, we can build capacity and equip our youth with the competencies required in an evolving global economy. Members, Europe is a significant investor and trade partner in Africa, a relationship that has been fruitful over the years. Our collaborative efforts have helped generate millions of jobs and enhance livelihoods across the continent. This partnership is not only a cornerstone of our past and present, but it is also crucial for our future. I extend a warm invitation to European companies, institutions, and organizations to explore the many opportunities our continent has to offer. Join us in a collaborative endeavor to unearth and develop solutions that leverage our respective strengths, drive innovation, and benefit not only Africa, but also contribute to global progress. Because our story does not stop with our two continents, this is a global story. The demands of our time are great and full of uncertainty. Addressing this effectively hinges on a robust commitment to multilateralism and international cooperation. However, it is increasingly clear that the institutions and structures established in the 20th century are not fit for purpose anymore. We must ensure they are equipped to address contemporary challenges and pave the way for inclusion, equality, and prosperity. This calls for a fundamental redefinition of international cooperation. We must move beyond arrangements that perpetuate cycles of indebtedness and dependence. Our aim should be to bring about real, additional financing that does not merely escalate debt burdens or facilitate the extraction of profits. Cooperation that does not lock in developing countries in fossil fuel dependency, but allows them to advance alongside the rest of the world in the transition to sustainable energy. Genuine partnerships that prioritize people and their well-being on a livable planet. In today's interconnected world, where the fortunes of all nations are tightly woven together, a new era of cooperation and collective action is necessary for a prosperous and peaceful world. In the face of threats that transcend borders and oceans, it is essential to adopt a clear-sighted and unified approach to confront climate change, combat poverty, and tackle conflict. Madam President, honorable members, the annals of history are replete with instances where collective action has achieved what no single nation could accomplish alone. We are acutely aware that our decisions and actions will significantly shape the 21st century. Years from now, future generations will reflect on this era, scrutinizing the choices we make in this moment. Let it be said that we were visionary, not just preoccupied with the present, but deeply invested in the future. Let our legacy be one of foresight, collaboration, and solidarity. Let us be guided by a deep commitment to ensuring a prosperous, equitable, and sustainable world for those who will follow our footsteps. I thank you.